Welcome into your tiny reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, coming in to break down the cards for you. So, as usual, we have three different piles. Pick the pile or piles that you are drawn to, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in, pile one, to your reading for this week. Let's get into your cards. So, the first card you have is Intuition. And the next card you chose is Satisfied. Pleased with myself, I smile inwardly. Satisfied. Okay, so these two cards are your energy for the week. Starting with Satisfied, I love this. It feels like you're content with the things that are happening. You are having things that you want to happen. You're feeling good. We're bypassing the bullshit. We are like bringing in things we want, or we're coasting in a way, or we are just kind of feeling full. So I really love that. On the back of each of these cards, there are questions. These are actually the mood cards. They're psychology cards, but I found them years ago and I use them for reading. So, anyway, satisfied. Ask yourself, what brings you satisfaction? What does it feel like inside? What stops you feeling satisfied? How can you overcome it? Affirmation. I am grateful for my life. Everything is just as it should be. My life is full and complete. And like I said, in terms of the energy, it feels like this energy definitely brings a smoothness to your week. If you aren't somebody who's feeling satisfied with life or with certain aspects of life, I would definitely sit with the questions that these are asking. Are there ways in which there are things that are bringing you satisfaction, but you're not paying attention to them because you're looking at the lack or the negative or less positive things? What stops you from feeling satisfied? If, like I said, you aren't feeling satisfied, and how can you overcome that? These are all really good questions to sit with and ask if you aren't feeling these ways or if you aren't recognizing this in your life this week. Because the energy is definitely available to you to feel some sort of satisfaction. Okay. Within that, the next card we have is Intuition. And so I would dare to say, especially if you are not feeling satisfied in life, or like I said, in certain aspects, sit with yourself and really ask the questions, but then sit and wait for the intuitive responses, right? So there's responses, excuse me, that are within you emotionally, that you can tune into mentally, that you can tune into, but you can also tap into your intuitive mind and kind of ask the same question, because you may get a more um, knowledgeable response, or you may get a response that's less based in emotion or ego, and that gives you a perspective that you're not able to see. It's like almost like a third party perspective of what's going on, right? Also, within this energy for this week, in terms of intuition, pay attention to the things that are happening this week. Pay attention to the things that are coming up. Don't dismiss the things that you feel, the things that you think, the things that you intuit, okay? Pay attention to the signs and things. Move off of your gut, move off of your feelings and your intuits, not your ego, not your fear based feelings, not things that are more um, earthly or emotionally tied, right? Go based off of the celestial feelings, go based off of the flow of things, go based off of how it reacts to you and your body, or how you respond to it unconsciously. You know what I mean? That's part of the intuitive energy. Also, you may have things that just come to you this week. You may just know the answer to things. You may just know how to do something. You may just know how to help someone. Things may just flow with you, and that may be part of the satisfaction energy that we receive, because things are just flowing. You're just in right alignment. You just know what to do. You just know what to say. You just know the right places to be, things like that. So this is part of the energy that I get for this week, pile one. Let's pull a few more cards and see what more we may be dealing with. Okay, so back to the mood cards. Some of the other energies for this week. Okay. We have sorry. We have acceptance. I take life as it comes. There are some things you just can't change. Okay, acceptance and accepting what is, being satisfied with what is, and being satisfied with what isn't, in a sense. Okay, and accepting things intuitively, understanding why something is or what's about to happen, so that you can, accept it as it comes or take it as it comes more easily. We then have guilt. My conscience is getting to me. Okay, so that may be some of the energy that comes up this week. This is part of what we talk about in the monthly collective reading. Actually, the December reading just came out on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. And one of the things we talk about is right action. We have a justice card for one of the cards of the month for the energy of the month. And we discuss moving in like moving in a way that your actions are weighted and understanding the consequences of things and how those consequences may be coming back on people right now. And so this may be why part of that guilt is coming up for you this week. So definitely go listen to the episode if you have not already. Let's get into some of these questions. So ask yourself, what are you what do you feel guilty about? How does this sit with your own morals and values? How could you have done things differently, and what can you learn from this? Again, like I talked about with the justice, it's like it's almost like we're wielding the sword of truth or the sword of justice. And so the way in which we move, not only this week, pile one, but in throughout this month, is very consequential. And we need to be moving in right character. We need to be moving in ways that honor our values and who we want to be and how we want to be seen. Because if we don't, we may feel this guilt, or we may have the consequences of those things come and bite us in the ass. Okay. Affirmation: I can do my best to be kind and loving. I can do my best to be kind, no matter, the circumstances that are happening to you or that have happened to you. If the other person didn't do it to you, you don't necessarily need to take it out on them. And that's something that we need to be mindful of. Okay. I will learn from the past to create a more peaceful future for myself. I'm gonna say that again because I stuttered. Okay. I can do my best to be kind and loving. I will learn from the past to create a more peaceful future for myself. That last line also about learning from the past, part of the guilt may be coming from past lessons. And when I say past lessons, some people may take that as losses. And that's something else we talked about in the monthly collective. So I love that this is coming up because it just validates for me that the things that I saw for this month are very much being reflected already. Okay. Um, and um, like I said in the reading, you are not necessarily being spared good. Okay. You're being asked to look at you and figure out how you can learn from this. You know, you're being asked to look at you and figuring out your accountability or your part in wherever you are. And it's information. It's not something to beat yourself up about. Okay. It's information to take with you to be able to move in more actionable ways. Okay. And the last card we have is wary, on guard. Okay. Which is interesting. To me, the face is looking like, I don't know about you, or I don't know about that. And yeah, question shit. Listen, who am I to question y'all questioning? If something don't feel right, question it, or don't go with it, or don't, move on it, or, if something feels off, look into it. Within that same regard, if you're somebody who is extra cautious, and you've been feeling like, oh, um, maybe I should be, more soft, or let my guard down or something like that. In terms of protection, right? We have to use our discernment. So you don't always have to go into everything so walled up. And also understand and sit with the fact that you know what you know, you feel what you feel. Again, going back to these intuitive feelings and intuitive gifts, okay? And that you need to move based on those things. So if something tells you to be on guard, then you should. If those red flags or those lights or, those feelings aren't going off for you, but you still feel walled up, then that's information that's about you. That this is less of a situation that you need to protect yourself from and more about something that triggers you or something that is habit for you or something like that. And that's something to dig into. Okay. In terms of the questions for this card, we have, what has happened in the past to make you wary? How does being wary help you? What will it take for you to trust again? And again, all good questions to really sit with and ask yourself on either side of the wary that I just talked about. Okay. Affirmation: I learn from experience to make the right choices for myself. I trust my intuition to guide me. All will be well. Okay. So these are the cards that we have for the energy of your week. Let's move into some more specific things that may happen. Okay, so for the more specific things that may happen, this is interesting. Should I leave them? Fuck it, let's see. We're gonna use the Sacred Symbols deck. Protection with that on guard. Okay. Safe travels, guides, and lucky. Okay. So, oh, and I'm being drawn to pull some of these too. So this is our Power of Surrender deck. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. All right, so let's get into the first line. So, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, we have our guides card that speaks to me about the intuition that we just talked about before. In the intuition card, she's also holding a white dove. And so that to me brings in the celestial help. So, not only are you being asked to tap into your intuition and utilize your intuition this week and expand and grow your intuition, but to also utilize and work with your guides, and or you will see how your spiritual team shows up. You'll see how specific ancestors show up or how specific spirits show up to you this week or make shit happen for you, or like, help add to that satisfied feeling that you have. You also have the lucky card, and to me that speaks to that as well. The lucky card also suggests that you may, like I said before, may have just things, specifically may have things just like moving in right accord for you. Things are just flowing, things are moving, things are happening. You're able to have like positive things happen. Like, so you if you were going in for a talk about something with somebody, you get like a raise or you get a promotion, or you are able to have like something you've been waiting for go right, or like, these are just examples, random examples, mind you, but like something like that, right? You have things go your way this week. You're able to see the flow. You're able to like um, see things happen in your favor. It feels like within the safe travels card as well. Like, it's like things are moving for you. Things are opening up for you. We have new opportunities opening up. Utilize your intuition to recognize the new opportunities that are opening up this week. I feel like some things you may not see or recognize or act on as quickly if you're not paying attention to what's happening. Okay. So definitely pay attention to what's happening. If you are somebody that is traveling this week, like you are literally going on a trip, because this is flanked by the protection and the guides. Okay. I want you to say your prayers, and if it's in you to do travel works, like sprinkle your suitcase with comfrey or something like that, then do that. And also, if intuitively you start to feel anything, I shouldn't go, I should wait later, I should cancel, I should go sooner, whatever it is, listen to yourself. Okay. Listen to yourself. Ask your people for protection. Ask them to walk with you. Again, I'm not saying this as if something is going to happen. I'm saying this because this is what has been put on me to say based on these things being around each other. Again, you have the lucky card. So it seems to me that everything would be fine either way. You know what I mean? But just like, this is part of this energy for me. The other part of this energy for me also has to do with specifically this week, utilizing either the spirits that you work with or your spiritual team to call in new opportunities for you, to open up your roads, to protect your finances, to protect your opportunities, to protect yourself and your family, but to like open shit up for you, to bring shit in for you, to like heal, you're working on healing your line, or like something like that. It's like clearing the roads, opening more, making a way. That's also specific work that should happen this week. Okay. We then have surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you are afraid of change in a job, your health, or a relationship, or you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation: I have faith that all is well. Okay. Within surrender your fear to change, you then have surrender to trust. Surrender to trust because specifically you have things that are working out for you this week. You do not have to worry. You do not have to sit in anxiety or fears about things. If there's things you're worried about, you need to call on help. You need to do the works, right? But then you need to let it go. Okay. Set it and forget it. Trust, or surrender to trust, excuse me. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Okay, again, intuitively knowing that you've chosen the right path, feeling that you've chosen the right path, being guided and having signs and omens that show you that you are on the right path, that what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing in general. Okay. And then trusting that you see what you see, or you feel what you feel, or that you're going the right way because you utilized the energies that were available to you, the energies that are helping you, the flow. Okay. I'm going to go to surrender worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that spirit is always guiding you, or guiding you always, excuse me. And then surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and ecstasy there. Okay. So, in terms of specific things, we may have shit that we start to have anxiety about, we start to worry about. But again, if that comes up for you this week, sit with your intuition, surrender to the trust, go outside, take a walk. I know it's cold outside sometimes. We need to just get that shock, right? So, if it's cold where you are and you're like, bitch, I don't want to go outside, but you need to, you're feeling disruption, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling worry, you're feeling what ifs, you're feeling coulda, woulda, shouldas about shit that passed, that happened, that you wish you were, you had, or you wish you were in, or whatever the fuck. Go outside, just get a little bit of that air, take a little walk, get a little breather, get some refreshment to literally ground yourself, come back into yourself, to take a break, to get some clarity, whatever, which one of those things it would be. Okay. But it's about like the relaxation of it. It's about taking a break. It's about stepping outside of yourself. It's about recognizing that you are part of a whole. It's about recognizing um, how blessed you are, as well as how small you are compared to everything else, So, this is some of the stuff that comes up specifically for this week. Let's finish our reading with some words of wisdom. Okay, so ending your reading with some words of wisdom. Let's get that off the flow. So the card that you have is the Healer. You and possibly someone you care about need to be healed from the effects of past traumas before things can be resolved to your liking. And we just talked about that in the energy of this week and a little bit in the specifics. So there are things that may come up this week that may have you reflecting, right? But it's more so reflection and review. We don't want to sit there. We don't want to like revel in what it was. We want to sit and take accountability and reflect on it and mourn if there's still a little bit of mourning and grieving to do, but then to move on, to take the lesson from whatever it was. Okay. So this is your reading for this week, pile one. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you would like your own personal reading, book with me on wildheartbotanica.com. I have 3 different reading options that are email options, and then we have our one live reading option. If you haven't already, like I said, subscribe to our podcast, Tiny Musings with T, on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Our December reading is out now. Our December fairy tale reading will be out in about 2 weeks. We also have a book club going on this month. If you would like to read with us, we are reading The Conjuring of America. The book form is on my Substack and it's on my Instagram. So check that out. If you're not already following me, follow me at Tiny Divinations on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. And yeah, thank you so much, as always, for reading with me. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, again, thank you so much for reading with me. I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile two for your reading. Welcome in pile two to your reading for this week. Let's get into your cards. So, starting with the energy of this week, the first card we have is laziness. And then the second card you have for this week is happy. I laugh. Let's do this one. Welcome in pile two to your reading for this week. Let's get into your cards. So, the first card you have is laziness. And then the next card you have is happy. I smile, I laugh, I bounce. Happy. Okay. So starting with the laziness, I I feel like some people pick this card because you feel like I am lazy, so I should pick this. Tell me how to be unlazy, okay? And it's funny because when I first pulled this card, my first thought was that some of y'all need to rest. It's like laziness has to do with your relationship to doing things and your relationship to rest and relaxation and your lack of a relationship to rest and relaxation and how you think you're always supposed to be doing things. So, in turn, sometimes you think you're not doing enough when in all reality, your body needs you to sit the fuck down or your mind needs to reset. And so, like, in the act of resting, you are doing something. Okay. I know that was a little bit of a read. I'm sorry. And you're welcome. Okay. Love you. Okay. So that's a thing, right? Right. And then for other people, the way that this energy of laziness shows up this week, and again, we're using this laziness in quotes, right? This lazy feels like a Western construct, but we're not even going to get us too deep for today. Okay. Anyway, on the other side of the laziness, right? We have people who aren't doing the things that they want to do or doing as much as they want to do. Um, and part of that has to do with avoidance and like really sitting with why you are avoiding it. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you just don't want to do shit. There's something about it that you are scared of or that you know, like some people can be scared of success. Some people can be scared not to finish things. Some people can be scared not to believe it's going to be as good as they want it to be, or like they don't believe in themselves. Or like there's many reasons why people self sabotage. Okay, and so what you are reflecting as laziness and this energy this week may really have some like deeper connotations and some deeper things that we want to get into. Okay. So this is not inherently lazy. If you pick that because of this, like, again, sorry, not sorry. You're welcome. Love you. Okay. All right. All right. So your next card for this week is happy. Okay. So like I said to pile one, I love that you have this card for the week. It feels like that means that great things happen. Part of the energy of this week is that you just feel good. You feel positive. You feel good about the shit that's happening. You feel good about what's coming. You feel good about what you're doing or what you're trying to do. You feel good about who you are, right? It feels like there are things that will be putting a smile on your face this week, whether that's things that come out or come to you in terms of like situationally. It feels like things, like I said, to pile one, kind of go your way, or in your specific case, it feels like people um, do things to make you happy or go out of their way to help you to do something or to feel happy or to like make you smile or something like that. That may happen this week in terms of the energy. But like I said, also outside of other people, and there may just be things that like just fill you this week, that just make you smile, that make you happy, that like are fun for you. You know, you may be doing fun things this week as well, so that's part of it. The questions we have for this card are: what does happiness mean to you? When was the last time you felt truly happy? What did it feel like? What can you do to bring more happiness into your life right now? So like I said to pile one, if you aren't in a space where this week you are not feeling happy, I challenge you to look around and to see if there are things, big or small, that have made you happy. And if there are, that you can think of in those moments, or in general, are you looking too heavily or paying too much attention to the negative or to the lack or to things not being the way that you want them to be? And is that keeping you from happiness? Is that keeping you from having even small moments of happiness? Is that keeping you from bringing it into your life? Right? Is that keeping you from seeing what happiness really looks like or means to you or is reflected within your life, and how you can bring more of that because you're hindering it? Okay. So, like I said, if you're not feeling that way, that's definitely something to look into, because I know that there are going to be moments of happiness this week. There are going to be moments where things are happening that you could be smiling about, or you could hold on to, or you could, you know, that are positive, that you don't even have to see positively. They are positive. Okay. But you may be missing it. You may be forcing yourself not to see in some ways. Okay. So that's something to sit with too. So let's get a few more cards about some more of the energy for your week. Okay. So we have regret, if only. And I'm going to do these maybe in groups a little bit. Sorry. I know what I did was wrong and I'm sorry. And then forgiving. We all make mistakes. So let's start here. I'll get back to these, right? In terms of more of the energy for this week, all of these things together suggest to me that there either there's energy for us to do something that we will need forgiveness for, that we take too far, that we react without having all the information about, that because we are in our happy cloud, we don't recognize what's going on with somebody else, or the opposite of, because you are not sitting in the happy because you're seeing everything is negative, then you're putting that air onto everything and then you react that way, but that wasn't really what the fuck was going on, or something like that, right? There's this energy of something happening, and whether it's you doing it or somebody else doing it, immediately after it feels like they don't need you, or they recognize what they did, or you recognize what you did, or you regret what you did, right? And there is energy within that to apologize, to take onus, to take accountability. I talked about in pile one, for this month's reading, for our reading on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, for December, we talk about taking accountability. A large part of this month, a major theme of this month, is taking accountability for the shit you've done. right? And so, like I said, to pile one, and validates for me that what I saw for the month is really what it is, because we're days into the month, 2 days into the month, and already I'm seeing it reflected in the first week of the month. Okay. So if you do something that you are regretting, or you're, regretful of, then apologize. Make a sincere apology. Excuse me. Yeah, make a sincere apology. Communicate with people. We also talk about the need to communicate with people this month, and the confrontations and fights that come out of things, right? If you are not moving in right action, that can have consequences. We talk about that a lot this month, y'all. I'm telling you, go listen to the reading. Anyway, but this is something that's coming up. So again, if it's the opposite and somebody's done something to you, we are all going through things. You can have empathy for people. You can sit and if you're able to kind of reflect and understand where they might have been coming from, why they might have had that reaction, or what may be going on with them that may have had them, react in that way. You have the ability to step back and reflect on it and decide if you're able to, not forget it, but being able to talk it out, being able to, explain how it made you feel, and understand how it made, how they felt or where they were coming from, and then to move on from the situation. Okay. So that's part of the energy that comes up this week. This may happen, right? We then have joy. Open your heart to joy and your life will change forever. Okay. And proud. I feel a wave of enthusiasm for my achievements. Okay. So again, in terms of the energy of this week, like the happy, I love that we have these two cards. All of these cards, the smile is very much the same. Okay. You're smiling this week. You're feeling good. You're feeling full. You're feeling like you are taking the right steps. You feel like you're moving in right action, which we just talked about. It feels like you are changing the way that you think, if you are somebody who has been sitting more in the what you don't have or lack, or this week is a good week. The energy is there for you to like change your mindset, and for you to fill your cup, and for you to see things half what is it, glass half empty or half full. We see where I be falling on the spectrum. Anyway, you there's the ability to see the glass half full this week, and to see things in ways that you haven't been seeing them in recent months or days or weeks. Okay. There's things happening this week that you can be proud of. It really just feels like, more specifically, like how you're moving and how you handle things, or your skills, or the way you're doing something. It's like proud of yourself is what it feels like. And so this is some of the energy that I'm getting for this week. Let's move into some more specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so in terms of more specific things that may happen this week, we are using the Sacred Symbols deck. It's like nothing want to come from this one. Maybe we won't use this deck. Okay. Okay. So we have Earth, Message, Spiritual Cleansing, Transmute. Let me move it. And Relief. Message. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Okay. So, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, message, Earth, message, spiritual cleanse. Let's start this way. The message is to ground, right? We just talked about grounding. There's a message of grounding into yourself. There's a message of grounding into what is in front of you. Specifically, we need to like take shit as it is. Take the like if the negative emotions are like, what I just heard in my head was take the bass out your voice. Like which some people are not going to understand what that means, especially in terms of this. But in terms of this, right, a part of the message is to like sit where you are, be where you are, take the lesson of where you are, look around, take account of where you are. Like, not in a way that's negative or projecting shit onto it, but just taking it for what it is. Okay. accepting it for what it is, sitting in that space, right? There's also the message with the earth and grounding in yourself and who you are, right? That's part of why we're taking accountability so heavily this month. It's like part of that is grounding into you, seeing who you are, recognizing who you are, so that you can change the things that you don't, like how they're reflected, so you can recognize the ways in which you want to move or be seen, or in terms of your morals or your values or how you feel. But there are things that need to be like looked into and dug into this month. So that's part of this week, excuse me. So that's also part of that earth energy that we have, right? There's this message of spiritual cleansing. So part of what you need to do this week is clear shit out, clear yourself off, clear your space out, clear out your cabinets. I just heard clean out your desk drawers or something. I just heard as well something specific about your desk drawers or something. Like there's this energy that you're holding on around your desk, or like in your workspace or something, that can also be reflecting um, like the energy at work. So that's something too. And we have the relief card under that. So again, like cleansing, removing, getting rid of shit this week, uh, cleansing your mind, cleansing your thoughts, um, helps bring relief, helps to make shit clear, helps to bring ease, helps you to see the transmutation of the energy, and how important it is to clean and to remove your shit, and to occasionally clear things out. Okay, again, there's also this energy spiritual cleansing with the laziness of like, part of cleansing your palate is like not doing anything. Like if you've been doing a lot of shit, um, part of spiritual cleansing could be literally not doing anything, doing things that just bring you joy, doing things that have nothing to do with the work that you do, that aren't based in what you do, that aren't based around it, that are just completely different. So that you can almost, it's like a palate cleanse, it feels like. So that's part of it this week. Also, within that, like I said earlier in the reading, you have relief here. So there is this energy that's talking about you relaxing, like you taking it easy, you taking it down, you turning your brain off, you finding ways to kind of um, bring yourself to um, a more secure space within yourself of knowing, okay, I can rest. It's okay for me to rest. If I stop, it doesn't stop the world. If I take time for myself, it doesn't, change anything. I'm not curing cancer. And even if you are somebody that cures cancer, you ain't the only goddamn scientist on the team, probably. I would hope anyway. And even if you are, you need rest to be able to make, the best discoveries. Okay. So that's that, all in all, that's where we are in terms of specifics. Okay, let me pull a few more cards and see if there's anything else in terms of specific energy. Okay, so we have surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. Okay. So that's part of what may specifically come up this week. Surrender stubbornness. Okay. Especially if you're somebody who's prone to stubbornness, and you may not sit with the reactions or the information that your body gives you, because you may not be listening to it, right? Stubbornness has to do with imbalance of the ego. Surrender stubbornness. If you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. Again, we're taking accountability, we're reflecting, we're reviewing, okay? This will help you communicate more lovingly with yourself and others, and have a more loving perspective as well, which we talked about. You then have surrender your comparison to other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. Okay. So this is what I am getting for us for pile 2. in terms of the specific things that may happen this week, let's wrap it up and give y'all some words of wisdom. Okay, so let's get you some words of wisdom for this week. Okay, the ruler. Sometimes you must create and defend boundaries to protect yourself from the invasive or other inappropriate behaviors of others. Hmm? Okay. And do. Okay. The traveler. Let travel, education, and communication systems take you and your ideas to the world and or use the same to bring the world to you. Okay. I love that. And I think both of these things help you bring joy, help bring relief, and ultimately protection. Okay. So these are your words of wisdom for this week. This is your reading for this week, pile two. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you'd like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. We have 3 email options right now and our live reading option. If you aren't already subscribed to the Substack or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify to get this month's monthly collective reading, definitely go subscribe and listen to that. Subscribe on the YouTube, subscribe at TikTok and Instagram at Tiny Divinations. We have a book club. We are reading The Conjuring of America by Lindsay Stewart. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can sign up for that. The link is on my bio and Instagram or on Substack. And yeah, thank you again for reading with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile three to your reading for this week. Let's get into your cards. So, the first card that you have for this week is fertility. The next card you have for this week is positive. I am inspired, motivated, and proactive. I make the best of every situation. Okay. So, getting into your energy for this week, you have a big ass smile on your face. You're ready to get shit done. You have a fire under your ass. You feel passionate about things. You have ideas. You are feeling creative. So lean into that energy, right? We also have the fertility card. So there's definitely feelings of people wanting to birth things this week, or people, like I said, having creative ideas, or wanting to get shit started, or wanting to get, um, things implemented, or being motivated to plan or to do. It also feels like there's an alignment for there to be a birth in any sense, right? Things have to be in alignment, things have to line up. And so there are ways that things are lining up for you this week as well. So it definitely feels good. It definitely feels like if you are thinking about these things, and you should lean into that. If you aren't feeling as inspired or positive or motivated, there is that energy there this week. So maybe sitting with why you don't, or what it is you're really interested in, so that you can start to like get some of these ideas for things percolating. You know what I mean? So let's get into the questions that go with this card. Ask yourself. I just said this in the last in the last file. That's so funny. Ask yourself, is your glass half full or half empty? This is perspective talk, okay? Why, excuse me, what is in the half full part of the glass? What is missing in the empty space? And that's kind of what I just said before we turned the card over, in terms of finding your interests, or seeing, what are the reasons you're not feeling as creative or as passionate about. Are there things that you have that you're passionate about? Are there not? Do you have it available to really sit and try to figure that out? That could look like researching things. That could look like looking at what other people are doing and getting ideas from that. That could look like looking at past notebooks or journals, or thinking about things that you used to be interested in and maybe revisiting those things. Okay. The second question: does your life reflect a positive or negative attitude? Right. And that goes back to that first question. But in this question, it says give examples. And I would say give at least 5 examples of both. And if it's harder to give positive examples than it is for you to give negative examples, then that's information. Then that's something that we have to sit with and dig into. Okay. Third, what would your positive message to others be? And whether others are your future self, others are other people that aren't you, others are your inner child, what would your positive message be? And it has to be real positive. Don't just give me some um, some bullshit. Give you, and I said me, like you talking to me as if anyway, you know what I mean. Don't give you some bullshit answer. Give you a real answer. And if it takes you some time to think of it, again, that's information. But make sure that you think of it within the next, I'd say 48 hours or less. Okay. Affirmation. I breathe in positivity. I breathe out negativity. I embrace the rhythm of life in all its glory. I am a positive being. I'm going to read that again. I breathe in positivity. I breathe out negativity. I embrace the rhythm of life in all its glory. I am a positive being. Okay, so this week is a lot about perspective in terms of our energy. It's about recognizing where we may have a lack mindset or where we may have a more negative mindset. It's sitting with the things that feel good and actually bring us happiness and joy and leading into that. It's recognizing what the empty space is filled of. It's recognizing if we have interest or if we don't, and digging into all of these things. So this is part of the energy we have for this week. Let's pull a few more cards and see a little bit more of the energy. Okay, let's see what else we got going on this week. And then on the bottom we have acceptance. Okay, so we have hopeful, bring it on. We have negative, I'm not good enough. Why should anyone care about me? I'm no good at anything. It's no good. It won't work. Then we have joy. Open your heart to joy and your life will change forever. And then on the bottom, acceptance. I take life as it is. There are some things you just can't change. Okay. So the energy of this week, it feels like sways back and forth, right? Ultimately, we have the positive card because you're being asked to have a positive have a positive outlook, have a positive perspective on things. But it's very clear that there are ways in which this week that you may ebb and flow with this feeling, right? There may be things that kind of bring you out of that place that may take you to a more negative place. You may feel like you messed up on something, or that things aren't working out for you, or that they're never going to work out. Like you may take yourself to places in a sense emotionally. But again, it's perspective. We have to step back. We have to allow ourselves the time to mourn, to grieve, to feel what we feel, and also recognize that there is a reason for everything, right? And one of the things we talk about in the monthly collective reading for December is accountability, right? And just seeing things for what they are, and seeing your onus in things, because we have the justice card this month, and the acceptance card, excuse me, for your week reminds me very much of that justice card in terms of accepting what's in front of you, seeing it for what it is, taking the emotion out of it, taking the irrationality and irrational feelings out of it, taking ego out of it, and just seeing things as they are, right? Black and white. And then from that perspective, seeing what positives you can pull out of that, seeing what you can use to move forward in positive ways and actionable ways, right? What is, in the sense, like you said, half empty or half full, like what ways in which your life is half full. And in the acceptance, that would be, the empty space that they talk about. But even within the empty space, what you can do to change that, or what's available to you in terms of fertility to have innovation around that, or to create change around that, or to change your ideas and perspective, and to like bring some kind of um, like birth something new from the things that you either don't have, or you feel like you're not good at, or something, you know what I mean, something like that. So for example, if you have a situation where you start to feel down on yourself about something that you aren't doing as well at, or something that's an opportunity for you to enhance that skill, or for you to recognize that that may not be what you're supposed to do, and to pivot and to change into something else, but again, it's perspective and how you see things. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the energies for your week. Let's move into some more specific things that may happen. Okay, so for the specific things that may happen this week, we are using the sacred symbol cards. Okay. So we have good fortune, fire, home, and divine masculine. And then I'm just gonna pull a few of these power of the power of the surrender cards. Surrender to what is, surrender to the wisdom of your body, surrender to effortlessness, surrender stress. Okay, so let's start with our first line here. So, specific things that may happen this week. We have the good fortune and the luck. So again, it's in terms of perspective, right? How you see things. It feels like things can be working in your favor this week. It feels like you may have sprinkles of luck. You may have sprinkles of things that are positive, like we have your card. And if you're paying attention to it, if you're recognizing, like what that looks like to you, then you'll see it. Then you'll have those things show up for you this week, and you'll be able to recognize the tangible ways it is coming to you, because the energy is available to you. And it feels like I said, it'll be like, it's like sprinkle sprinkle. Like it's like you'll see a little bit over here, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And then something nice happens over here, it's like, oh, that's nice. It may not be like this big ass one big ass thing that happens, but it feels like sprinkles of nice things, or sweetness, or like happiness, good things throughout your week. And it feels tangible as well. In terms of the fire card and the divine masculine card specifically say to me that this week we're dealing with things that we're passionate about. We're dealing with wanting to get through lists or plans or actionable things. We're ready to work out this week. We're ready to like get back on your shit. If you're there, you're ready to like take on something, take the lead on something, to like to move, that there's action there as well, so that's definitely part of the energy of this week. You may also have something that you're working on that you may actually like really like to do, or that fuels you, or that like there's some competitive aspect to it, so that's part of why you like want to do the shit or get it done. Or you may be like signing up for something competitive this week, or doing that this week as well. You have the home card, so there may be some aspects of your home that come into this. So like you may be ready to move, you may be ready to like clear your house out, you may be ready to change how your house looks and your home decor. You're ready to renovate or some shit, or you're ready to like I said, change the space that you live in physically or literally, like move locations. You're ready to look into that. You're ready to like, your people are just ready to start getting shit done this week. You are also, if you may be like working, this may be working on your home or working in your home, like so whether you're doing actual work in your home, you're starting like a home business, or you're making space to work out of your home, but also you may like have workers coming into your house. Like you may have something that needs to get worked on this week as well. So yeah, also just because we have the fire and the home next to each other, be careful of like fires and candles and your stove, leaving your stove on, things like that. Be careful of men doing this and making these mistakes, or people that just like move around and do shit and don't just like necessarily think before they do things, right? And so they may burn themselves or cause a fire, a small fire, or something like that. Again, I say small fire because just the good fortune's next to it, so it doesn't feel like it would be bad even if there was some kind of fire. But again, if you're watching this and I'm saying this, just take heed. You know what I mean? Because there's a good fortune there. Like I said, it feels like it would be small. There's also water coming here, so it's like it would be put out quickly, or it wouldn't be that big, or something like that. But something to be mindful of. So there's that. Okay, moving to our surrenders, we have surrender to what is. Okay, and we talked about that in the energy of this week. Surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Okay, we talked about in terms of perspective. If there are things that happen this week that don't pan out the way that you want them to, or like we had the card before where you start to feel like you fucked it up somehow, understand that it was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen. Okay. We then have surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. And I think that's self explanatory, but also because we were speaking of having a positive attitude and a positive mindset, don't just like positive your way out of things that are obviously not good, okay, or um, seem like they are actually harmful, or like um you don't have to be positive about everything. Also, within that being said, surrendering to the wisdom of your body in terms of energized and happy about things, sometimes if we're not sitting in a positive perspective, or we're not looking at the glass half full, we can't recognize when something actually feels good in our body because we're not allowing ourselves to feel good. Okay, so sitting in your positive nature, allowing what feels good to feel good in your body and recognizing that helps you also recognize when something feels good that you have been pushing off. Okay. So that's twofold. Surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Okay. And that goes with the surrender to what is, that goes with the attitude and perspective that we were talking about. And then surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Okay. Let the stress go and come back to your center. Okay. So, again, even if some things come up this week, we're surrendering to what is, we're letting go of the stress, we're allowing things to move as they're supposed to, we're allowing things to flow as they're supposed to, and we're sitting with the messages that we receive. Okay. So, these are the specific things that are going to come up for you for this week, pile three. Let's end your reading with some words of wisdom. Okay, so ending your reading with some words of wisdom for this week. The butterfly. Allow yourself to leave behind the past and what is no longer necessary so you can truly be the person you have worked hard to become. Okay. And that will help you to bring in that positivity, to have a better perspective, to know what fills you, to move in terms of what you want to birth or innovate or create, or what brings passion into you. Okay. So, this is your words of wisdom for this week, pile three. This is your reading for this week. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. I would love to read with you. We have 3 email readings right now and a live reading. If you are not already subscribed on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, to our Tiny Collective reading, this is the last one of the year. December just came out. Definitely go listen to it. A lot of what we talked about in your reading and all the piles this week are in our monthly reading, which just like makes me feel so validated for what we talked about this month. So go listen to that. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, subscribe here. Subscribe on Instagram and TikTok at Tiny Divinations. And thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in your next reading. Have a great week.